Hello, today we're talking safe abortion as regards women's health in our society. An abortion is a procedure in which a woman terminates her pregnancy with or without the help of a doctor. In case you didn't know, the 28th of September was the World's International Day for Safe Abortion. Now, safe abortion services are essential because the reproductive complication, if done by a quack or the pregnant woman, outweighs the stigma associated with seeking an abortion. Truth is, abortion happens all the time with students, spinsters, even married people want abortion sometimes. If you're not ready for a child, what do you do? Yes, you heard me, married people inclusive. Most people will tell you that going to any general hospital in Nigeria or a licensed private hospital with gynecology services will be your best bet. But is it really affordable? In some advanced countries, women who are not ready to bear children are allowed to undergo an abortion, and it's not entirely bad if you want to prevent suffering for that unborn child. Unsafe abortions lead to countless preventable deaths and complications, and is indeed a matter of public health. Now, here's a short story in my journey as a social worker. Two best friends, my team and I rescued from a brothel here in Lagos. One of them is from the eastern part of Nigeria, while the other one came from one of these West African countries. They had met earlier through Facebook. Both girls were teenagers, but at the time of the unfortunate incident, as 3 years after they met, one of them, the Nigerian, had died at the age of 21. The Liberian girl landed in Lagos and got into prostitution immediately. The other girl from Nigeria, being the only child and last born of a semi-wealthy family, ran to Lagos to meet her friend because she felt she was being, pressured with school stuff and other teenage things like that. Long and short, we rescued them exactly 6 months after they entered that life, and they began their rehabilitation program in a shelter. About 3 months later, they planned their escape, but we caught them jumping over the fence, right? We could not hold them against their will, as they were ready to sign the exit forms in front of the police officers and in the absence of their relatives before they would say we kidnapped them. Exactly 2 months later, we got a call. The non-Nigerian girl, Liberian girl, had volunteered to come back to the shelter to continue her rehabilitation after falling back into the brothel life with her friend. This time she was very sober, she was desperate, she also came back pregnant, and lied that her friend had gone back to her parents in the east. Fast forward to 1 week later, I was just doing my report writing and I wanted to work her transfer as a pregnant girl to another shelter. I now decided to interview her one more time, and as soon as I asked about her friend, she just started crying. I was shocked. Are you missing her? I asked, handing her a tissue paper. She said, yes. I said it's normal, but you guys can always communicate through social media. And she said no. And then I paused, thinking that maybe they were fighting or something. That was how she raised her head to tell me that her friend was dead. Dead! Hey! Apparently, the friend didn't go back home. She overdosed on a mixture of hot drink, alligator pepper, and some other items they made into a concoction in a bid to terminate her pregnancy, which means they fell pregnant around the same time. I can't even begin to tell you how I cried when she left my office that day. Like, I remember begging these girls to stay when they tried to leave that first time. I was like a big sister to them and we had memories together. I didn't even want to remember. It now dawned on me that the girl, it was out of fear that she made the call to the shelter for admission. And then they found their way, but it was too late for the other girl. You see, incidents like this make me question life. Look, if you cannot practice safe sex, just use prevention. And there are so many of them, like some are free, some are even affordable. Just tell them at the hospital what you are trying to achieve, and they are always there to help. It's even a bigger sin to give birth to a child into this world only to dump them in a refuse bin or throw them away in the river. I know of cases like that. Some even use their babies to beg on the streets. In fact, I even forgot. There was one that used to call me in 2012 that she wants to sell her baby if I can find a buyer or so. And I'm like, what kind of ridiculousness is this? If you're unable to keep the child after birth, you can give them up for adoption. The Child Welfare Unit of any Ministry for Women Affairs is in charge of all this paperwork. Or you go to any office of the public defender for more information. See, I know our religious systems do not agree with this, but people are doing this thing in their closets. We might as well enlighten them about it. Let's take a minute to appreciate the Vision Springs Initiatives. It's an NGO dedicated to advancing access to sexual and reproductive health and the rights of girls and women in Nigeria. We thank you for all you do. May God continue to bless your organization. Remember, before you go to that quack for a quick abortion, think about the possibility of losing your womb permanently or even losing your life in the process. Watch out for 6 types of abortion we have. I'll be dropping soon, some hours after this, and it's a wrap, I guess. I hope you learned 1 or 2 things. Social worker signs out.